So in this session, we will try to understand different types of HTML tags which are frequently used in web development or web application development. So while designing the websites, many cases the developers will be usually or frequently using some HTML tags. So I will try to talk about those two frequently used HTML tags in this session. But anyhow, whatever the tags I am going to cover in this session, apart from those tags, there are many tags available in the HTML. Okay. Now, first let me talk about a tag called as title. So usually I already told you that the tag must be placed inside the angular bracket, and in general for every opening tag there will be a closing tag in many cases. So inside this you will be writing some title, right? So when you use a title, in general the title will be visible in the browser. So when you open the browser, in general, in many cases you will see different types of tabs. You assume that by using one of the browser, I have opened my HTML code which contains some title inside that HTML. So the title will be displayed in the header or inside the browser's title bar. Okay, so that is what is the use of title tag. So similar to this, we got something called as div tag. So for every div there will be a opening and then closing tag. So in general, the div tag will be useful for dividing the available area into a specific layout. So div is for division. So you can able to divide the available area inside your HTML body into different divisions. So most of the cases these divs will be used while designing the layouts. Let me show you what I am talking about. You assume that I am having a web page. So in that web page, I just wanted to display some content in the header section, something like this. And below that, I just wanted to display some content over here. And in the right hand side, I just wanted to display some content here. And below that, again, I wanted to display some content. So something like this, if I want to create a layout, in general, the designers will be using a div tag. So I believe you understood. So apart from div tag, we are having something called as p tag. P for paragraph, right? So no special explanation is required in the paragraph tag. And in general, inside the paragraph tag, you are allowed to write some content. Okay. So even inside the div tag also, you are allowed to write some content. So it can be plain text content or some other HTML tags also you are allowed to use inside the div tag. Okay. But in general, you remember one important point, you cannot be able to place a div tag inside the p tag. So if you are having a p tag, you should not place the div tag inside the p tag, which is incorrect approach. But anyhow, reverse is possible. If you are having a div tag, you can able to place the one or more p tags inside the div tag. That is possible. So that is the reason why in general a div tag will be considered as a container. Container means it can able to contain something. Okay. So it can able to act as a parent for some other containers or for some other elements. Now let me come back. So apart from this, we are having the heading tags which are ranging from H1 to H6, something like H1, H2, H3, H4, H5 and then H6, right? So remember one important point, in general when you are writing the HTML tags, it is recommended to use lowercase letters, right? So anyhow some people will be writing H1 by using uppercase letters, not only H1 tag, so some other tags like div, they will be writing something like this. So remember, this is incorrect approach, but anyhow your code may work, but it is not a standard approach. Try to use lowercase letters while writing the HTML tags. Now let us talk about the heading tags. So H1 to H6 tags are considered as heading tags. So in order to display some content in the websites, you might require to use headings and then subheadings. So in order to display the headings and subheadings, you will be using h1 to h6 tags, right? So in general, if you use h1 tag, the font size of the heading will be visible large, right? The font will be more. And in case if you use h2, obviously the font size will be little bit less compared to h1. So on and so forth. When you display some heading or subheading by using h6, the font size will be least. And when you use h1 tag, the font size will be highest. But anyhow, you can able to control this font sizes by using something called as styles, or maybe by using something called as CSS. You can able to control, or you can able to override the default font size whichever is used for displaying the content whichever is present in the h1 tags. Okay, so whatever it is, remember h1 to h6 tags are available in HTML. Now let us try to understand the GUI controls. So remember, in many cases while developing the real-time web applications or websites, in many cases we might require to allow the end users to give some input into our application. So in order to take input from the end users, so in general we will be using something called as GUI controls. GUI refers to graphical user interface. User can able to interact with that user interface. That is the reason why it is called as user interface. Now let me try to show you some of the too frequently used controls which will fall under the GUI controls category. Now let me show you frequently used GUI controls in HTML. In many websites we use it to see, or we use to observe something called as text boxes. A text box is something into which user can able to enter some data. User can able to type some data over here, right? Now let us try to understand how to create a text box by using HTML. It is simple. You should write input type is equals to text, and for each and every control it is highly recommended to give some ID. It will be usually unique ID should be given, right? So when you are creating the text box as per the industry standards, it is better to give the prefix as a TB. TB refers to text box. You assume that I have created this text box for taking some name, so it is recommended to give the ID as TB name. So these are not the HTML standards. You must understand this. These are the usual industry standards. But anyhow, every company will be having their own standards. So some companies will be using TB as a prefix for text boxes, and even some companies I observed they will be giving the prefix as TXT. So anyhow it depends on company to company. After this you will be closing the text box something like this, the text box tag. Okay. So now I would like to explain what is this input called as. Not only input, whenever you write something immediately after angular bracket, that is technically called as tag name. What it is? Tag name, right? And immediately after tag name you will be writing something called as properties. So type is a property and ID is a property. Some people will call properties as attributes also, right? So in general every property or attribute will be having a key and a value also. In general value will be placed inside the double quotations. Type is a key here and text is a value. Similar way, what is this ID here? ID is a key and then TB name is a value, right? And also remember that some people will be calling this tag name as element name. Whatever you write immediately after the angular bracket, that is called as tag name or element name also, right? So this is how you will be creating a text box. So this is the HTML code used for creating the text box. Now let us try to understand how to create something called as radio buttons. What is a radio button? In general in many websites you will be observing some circle kind of symbol, and immediately after circle it may be having some content, something like maybe male, female, so something like this, right? So now let us try to understand how to create such kind of radio buttons, right? So in order to create radio button using HTML, you should write input type is equals to radio. Next, for every radio button or for every control, in general it is better to give some ID. So in my case I will go for RD male, right? So you assume that I have created this radio button for males. In case if the person who is using your application is male, they have to check this one, right? If a female is using, they have to check this one or they have to select this one. Okay. So but anyhow, in general, when you create a radio button, in general the radio button will just display the circle, small circle. But in order to get some content next to the circle, you have to write that content as a plain text immediately after the tag, right? So something like this. If you want, you can create n number of radio buttons depending on your requirement. Now let us try to understand how to create checkbox. What is a checkbox? A checkbox is a small square kind of box wherein user can able to check or uncheck the existing items, right? So in general, immediately next to the checkboxes you will be displaying some content, maybe some blood groups, whatever it is. You just don't bother about what exactly we need to display immediately next to the checkboxes. It actually depends on your requirement. Now let me explain how to create a checkbox. In order to create a checkbox, you will be writing input type is equals to checkbox and as usual ID chk. So I will be usually using chk for checkboxes and maybe some content, some text, O positive end. So again, remember when you write input type is equals to checkbox and something, usually the code will display only a square box, right? But not the content next to the square box. So what I should do in order to display the content, I have to write some plain text. So this is how you will be creating the checkboxes. Now let us try to understand how to create a drop down list. So in general, a drop down list will be appearing something like this. When user clicks on that drop box, so some items will be visible. So something will be dropped and inside that dropped box you will be able to observe some items. Now how to create such kind of drop down lists or drop down boxes? Some people will call drop down boxes as combo boxes also. Now let me show you the HTML code required for creating the drop down list. You should use something called as select tag, select ID. You assume that inside this drop down list I am going to display some states information, maybe Indian states information. So I will be writing ID is equals to DDL states. What does that DDL means? Drop down list. Even some people will be writing CMB also. CMB means combo, right? So end of select tag. And apart from this, in general you might require to display some content, some elements into drop down list. Let us say I wanted to display a first element as select and the second element name as Karnataka, KA, which is an Indian state, and let us say I would like to display TN. TN means Tamil Nadu, which is again an Indian state, and let me say I got one more state called as AP. AP is again an Indian state, UP, something like this, right? So in order to display the content inside the drop down list, you have to use one more tag called as option tag. So where exactly we need to write option tag? Remember, it should be written between the opening and then closing of the select tags. You should write option and whichever the item you would like to see first, so that option name you should write it here. Similar way, one more option, maybe state name KA, end of option, so on and so forth, right? So this is how you will be creating a drop down list. Now let me try to explain how to create a password text box. In many cases you would have observed while using some of the web applications, you would have definitely observed the password text boxes. When you are typing some content, in general it will display either dots or maybe star marks. It will not display the original data whichever you have typed into the text box. Now the question here is how to create such kind of password text boxes. It is simple. You should write input type is equals to password, and again you can write it tb pwd id is equals to, right? Similar way in many cases in the web applications, you might require to create a text box which is capable of taking the email IDs. So if you want to create a text box which is capable of taking email ID, in general you will be writing input type is equals to email and maybe id is equals to tb email, close, right? So inside this text box you are allowed to write only the email IDs. So in my case maybe lokanatha.palle@sometechpalle.com, right? So something like this I can able to type my email IDs. In case if you are typing an invalid email ID, obviously you will get an error message. It will show you some error message, right? And apart from all these things, we need to understand one more control called as button. So what is the purpose of a button control? In general, you can able to click on the button control so that some action will be performed by the web pages. Now, I wanted to explain one important point here. In order to create button controls using HTML, in fact, there are different approaches you can able to use. So first approach is you can write input type is equals to submit, and next id is equals to some btn, maybe submit. Btn means button, okay, and this value can be anything. After this, if you want to display some content inside the button control, you have to write that content by using value property. Value is equals to submit. So similar way, there is one more way which we can able to use for creating button controls, that is you can write input type is equals to button, id is equals to btn something. Let us say I'll go for hello, and value is equals to, let me write hello. So whenever the browser observes the code something like this, it will create a button control with the value as hello. Now you may get a doubt here. So the doubt is, what is the difference between this tag and then this tag? Anyhow, I'll explain the difference between this tag and this tag later, but anyhow both are capable of creating the button controls, okay? So nowadays even I am observing one more tag called as button tag. So the people will be writing some button tag something like this, right? So anyhow, I don't want to talk about this button tag. So these are the two approaches which we need to remember as of now. So almost I have explained all the controls or all the GUI tags. So finally I would like to talk about two more tags. The next tag is anchor tag. So what is that anchor tag means? In many cases, many websites will be having some hyperlink something like this. Above the hyperlink you can able to observe logout or something, right? Maybe in some cases you will see some text, and under the text you will observe some underline, right? Something like this. So such kind of controls are called as hyperlinks, or some people will be calling that hyperlinks as anchor tags also. Now let me explain how to create such kind of anchor tags. So in order to create an anchor tag, you should use a and something called as href. So inside this href, inside the double quotations, you must specify to which page user must be redirected when the user clicks on the anchor tag. So let us assume I wanted to go to signout.html page. So I should write ahref is equals to signout.html, and here I have to write signout, end of anchor tag. So when the browser observes the code something like this, it will create an hyperlink with the name signout. Okay, so I believe you understood. So I would like to explain the point by opening one of my website called as palleuniversity.com, right? So our official website palleuniversity.com, currently I am trying to open. Now you observe this login is an hyperlink, but only thing is it is not showing the underline symbol because I have overridden some properties. right? So login is an hyperlink. So it means that when user clicks on login hyperlink, user will be redirected to some page. Now the question is, user will be redirected to which page? So observe carefully. When we place the cursor on top of this login, you must be able to observe the destination page name. You observe the arrow mark wherever we are placing the arrow mark. So corresponding to all hyperlink controls, you can able to observe the destination page names also. And you observe here there are many hyperlinks present. How it works? Privacy, terms and conditions. When I place the cursor on top of terms and conditions, just before this terms and conditions in the left hand side, you can able to clearly observe the destination page name. So what is the destination page name? palauniversity.com/terms and conditions.aspx. You don't bother about what is that ASPX. That we will be understanding later. In case if you are studying our ASP.NET course, you will be understanding what is that ASP.NET or what is that ASPX page means. So apart from all these things, in many websites you will be observing the images something like this. In fact, this is an image. This is an image. And even here also you can able to observe some images. Alright. So now let us try to understand what is that image and how to create an image. Right. So anyhow, everyone will be knowing what is the meaning of an image, but I will try to explain how to create an image. So in HTML, if you want to create an image, you must use img tag. Img and src is equals to the full path of the image file, maybe .png or .jpg, whatever it is. So you will be closing the img tag something like this. Alright. So I believe you understood. So apart from all these things, I would like to explain one more tag called as field set and then legend tags. I will be explaining about two tags, field set and legend. In many websites you will be observing one rectangle box something like this, and so in the rectangle box, in the top line you will observe some gap, and in between the gaps you will be observing some text. Let us say some text over here. So in order to create a square box or a rectangle box something like this, which is having some gap in the top line for including some text, you will be using field set and legend. So legend will be used for displaying some text, and the field set will be useful for displaying a rectangle box. Okay. So usually it will be written something like this: field set, end of the field set tag, and you will be writing some legend, some text, end of legend tag, and after the legend tag you can able to write some plain text, or maybe you are allowed to write some HTML GUI controls, so that plain text or GUI controls will be visible within the field set after the legend. Okay. So I believe you understood. In the next sessions we will try to create a few HTML pages, sample pages, so that you can able to apply all these HTML tags while creating that HTML sample page.